Halloween is just around the corner, and the stores are already packed with the costumes, decorations, and the candy that make it what it is today. However, even though Halloween is a very popular holiday, do you ever wonder how it came to be? Although costumes were involved, albeit animal heads and skins, the original Halloween, or as it was known 2,000 years ago, Samhain, and the current holidays' similarities are few and far between. And in the next few minutes, I hope to educate you on the captivating tale of how Halloween came to be, how it developed into the current holiday, and also how some of our favorite traditions came to be. First, let's discuss origins. Halloween began as a Celtic fire festival known as Samhain 2,000 years ago. Samhain was a fire festival celebrated on October 31st in preparation of the New Year, which was on November 1st. This marked the end of summer and heat. It also marked the beginning of winter, which was a cold and deathly time. A huge bonfire was built by burning crops and animals as a sacrifice to the Celtic gods. October 31st was thought to be the night where the line between the living and the dead could be crossed. Mischievous ghosts visited Earth to damage crops and round up trouble. Celts believed that since other spirits were roaming the earth, it was also a better time to predict fortunes in the future. The bonfires were also later relit to help warm them during the upcoming winter. After the Romans took over the Celtics, they joined Samhain with one of their fall festivals, and after several other influences, it became All Saints' Day, or All Souls' Day. Samhain combined with the Pomona Day, which was a Roman festival. The Romans celebrated Pomona Day, which celebrated their goddess of nuts and fruits. After the Romans ruled the Celtics for a few hundred years, eventually the two merged into one giant fall holiday. The fall holiday meets Christian influence. Roman Catholics made November 1st a day to celebrate the saints, thus becoming All Saints' Day, or Hallowmas, or All Hallows. November 2nd became All Souls' Day, in which people would celebrate by having bonfires and dressing up as angels, saints, and even sometimes devils. A mixture of all the influences brought us the holiday we now celebrate. Even with Christian influence, many still celebrated on October 31st, known as All Hallows' Eve, some of the traditions of Pomona and Samhain. Eventually, all of these traditions and customs mixed together, and thus All Hallow Eves, or All Halloween, and finally, Halloween was born. The traditions we celebrate today of trick-or-treating, jack-o'-lanterns, and dressing up stem from a variety of much older and slightly different traditions. Trick-or-treating began as begging. During All Souls' Days, praise and festivities would be going on in the streets of England. Beggars and the poor began to knock on doors during this time and ask for food. The families began making cakes, known as soul cakes, that they would give to the poor as long as the poor promised to pray for the family's deceased. The church encouraged this act of kindness, and it was called going a soulin'. Eventually, children began taking part of this act, and families gave them food, money, ale, and yes, eventually, candy. Wearing costumes was a way to avoid ghosts. Halloween was a time that it was thought that the dead could cross over, so people were scared to go out at night because they didn't want to meet up with any of these ghosts. So they began dressing in costumes and masks to frighten away the dead, or at the very least not be recognized by them. The jack-o'-lantern was the property of a man that neither the devil nor heaven would let in. Stingy Jack was a man who tricked the devil several times, and in return asked the devil not to claim his soul. After Jack died, God decided that he didn't want someone the likes of Jack in heaven. So since the devil had promised that he would not claim his soul, and since he was still upset by the tricks that Jack had played on him, he also denied Jack from hell. Instead, the devil sent Jack on his way into the night with only a burning coal as light. Jack placed this coal in a hollowed turnip so he could carry it easier. And people began calling this roaming ghost Jack of the Lantern, and eventually just Jack-o'-lantern. Others started placing these hollowed turnips with their light in their windows to ward off stingy Jacks and others who wished them harm. Eventually, people began using potatoes and large beets, and when the tradition finally moved to America, pumpkins were discovered to make great jack-o'-lanterns. Now that Halloween is fast approaching, I hope that you can keep in mind the origins of this celebrated event, as well as the many traditions that we keep with it. So set bonfires, dress up as saints, hide from the dead, go begging for soul cakes, and look out for Stingy Jack. Thank you.